Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the whole elect. Those in this gospel, God, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever they may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will be edifying. Man, this is wild. All right. This was sent yesterday in a group chat. And I watched the video. It's about 4 minutes long, and I'm going to actually play it. But long story short, it says, do not touch these rabbits. Basically, the dude was going into how you have what they call cordyceps, which is basically a fungi or fungus that's actually it can affect animals, or it can affect like particular insects, and it gives them like a zombie type effect. Now, when you watch that show called The Last of Us, and you watch the first pilot episode from season 1, they tell you how a pandemic broke out and some experiment went wrong, and all of a sudden they couldn't contain it in time, and then humans got infected by this zombie virus, and now pretty much the infected was running around like mindless zombies. But it wasn't your typical type zombie, because these particular ones, they had like supernatural strength. They still had faculties that worked to some degree, and they was kind of, and I say articulate, not as far as talking or speaking, but meaning that they was able to understand certain things. They was able to kind of rationalize. So they still had some type of faculties, even though there was these particular hybrids of this virus. But allegedly these rabbits, matter of fact, I'll just let the video play, because right now, today, I'm not really good with explaining certain shit. It's kind of weird how these bodies work, how the mind work, because some days you're fluent, you're breaking things down, and then some days you just can't formulate a thought properly, which shows you that we got to get the hell out of these bodies, man. But it's all part of the work and the glory of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So I'm gonna play this video, and I've got a couple of precepts lined up, and I got some information on it as well. So anyway, here we go.
God.
One more thing. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use.
All this, it gave me the chills. It made me itch. Oh my God. Apparently, you should stay away from these rabbits. Okay? A Frankenstein rabbit with tentacles sprouting from their heads are showing up in Colorado. Yeah. What if you catch and eat rabbits and it's got the virus, but it ain't, that makes you not want to eat them at all. I know that. Oh my God. Bizarre virus is turning ordinary rabbits in the U.S. into grotesque horned creatures with black tentacle-like growths sprouting from their faces, and sightings are on the rise. The mutated rabbits have been spotted multiple times in Fort Collins, Colorado. Reports date back to 2024, when a resident posted a photo online showing the creature's entire head covered in black spike-like protrusions. Resident Susan Mansfield told 9 News that she recently spotted a rabbit with black spines and quills around the mouth. It looked like black quills or black toothpicks sticking out around its mouth. Mansfield said, "I thought he'd die off during the winter, but he didn't. It came back a second year, and it grew." The rabbits are infected by a cottontail papillomavirus, also known as Shope papillomavirus, which causes tumors to grow on or around the animal's head. Colorado Parks Wildlife CPW has urged anyone who sees the infected rabbits to stay away and do not touch them. CPW does not believe the virus can leap to other species, such as humans or pets, but it's urging the public to avoid those rabbits and do not attempt to help them. Good Lord. Then what are they going to do about it if it spreads through the whole population? Are they going to catch them and, euthanize them humanely? What are they going to do? Although these Frankenstein rabbits have mainly been seen in Colorado recently, researchers noted that the cottontail rabbits throughout the Midwest could become infected with this rare virus. That's what I was saying. The virus spreads mainly via mosquitoes and ticks, which bite the infected animal and pass on the DNA altering conditions. Scientists note that the SPV rarely spreads through direct contact between these rabbits, and there are no known cases of insects infecting people with it through a bite. The first sign that a rabbit has the virus is red raised spots on their skin that eventually turn into wart-like tumors. In many cases, the warts develop into keratinized papillomas and horns and tentacles seen growing out of the Midwestern rabbits. However, some of the warts can turn into squamous cell carcinoma, a serious skin cancer that can be deadly. Oh my God. For pet owners, fearing rabbits could contract the virus, medical experts said that the best way to prevent SPV is to keep the rabbits away from pests, especially mosquitoes. But, they're so small, you don't know if they even came into your house. Man, this is weird. It really does look fake. Oh my God. I can't look at it for too long. Make me itch. Yeah. All right, y'all. Now you know, you've been warned. I told you. I did my civic duty.
And I'm gonna do some more research on that, man. But dude said, why is everything usually happening in America? Well, because the scriptures say that you should remain in these plagues, because this is a wicked society, man. So it makes sense that you get hit with the worst shit, pestilence, diseases, and we ain't seen nothing yet. But hey, the plagues are here. Now, if this is indeed real, hey, this is something that Esau can play off of, because remember a couple of years ago, those monkeys that got loose allegedly that contained some type of virus or some shit, and you never heard none of it. It reminds me of that movie called Outbreak. So ain't no telling what Esau got in these labs and what he's been experimenting on, man. But I looked up here and I looked up cordyceps, which says in a video game and TV series The Last of Us, the fictional pandemic is caused by a mutated cordyceps fungus that can affect and control humans, while the cordyceps fungus is real and does not infect insect and does affect insects, Salakia, creating a zombie effect. It is known to affect humans. And I remember going back to the time of the Pandeezy, you remember the CDC, they put a little satire out there about zombies on their website, about zombie outbreaks and all this other stuff, but they took it down maybe like a couple of months after they posted it. Why did they do that? Was it just playing with you people? Because a lot of times satire, which is not fully real, but it's based on a real concept. You see what I'm saying? But the CDC put that shit out there a while ago. And I'm noticing too, during the time of the Pandeezy, when those lights was turning purple, like the street lights and stuff like that, they were turning purple. Now I'm noticing, I'm starting to see them pop back up. All right, now I'm not saying that mean anything, but the time of the Pandeezy, that was it was just a crazy, crazy time, man. It was calm, but it was weird. It was just different. You felt the world shift, just a different time. But, I ain't gonna lie, I enjoyed it because, hey, it just, the spirit was dealing, and, brothers were just in a tranquil spirit. We was chilling, things were cool while the world was on edge. We was chilling, despite being around all the sick people. But, it is what it is. But anyway, it says the TV show's premise, while rooted in a real world fungus, is a work of fiction and not a realistic threat to humans. So they say. It says real cordyceps is the genes of fungi. It's real and primary infect other insects. Now you got what they call opiocordyceps, uterales or eulaterals. The specific species, often called the zombie ant fungus, is known for its ability to manipulate the behavior of ants, causing them to climb to a high location, clamp down, and die so the fungus can release spores. They showed you that in that movie, in that TV series. It says cordyceps fungi infect insects by releasing spores that land on their bodies, penetrate the exoskeleton, then grow inside, eventually taking over the insect's nervous system and behavior. So basically they become a host for the fungus. Not a human threat, so they say. It says, while cordyceps fungi can affect insects, there is no evidence that they can affect humans. It says our body's temperature and immune systems are not compatible with this type of fungal infection. Okay, but see, they saying that, but that doesn't mean that they're not creating something in a lab that can affect humans. Because remember, same thing with the BIRDFLU that wasn't supposed to be transmissible to animals, or humans, but somehow, some way, they was transmissible to humans. I think it was like 800 cases of humans catching that shit, you know. And you have what they call gain of function, which Dr. Fauci, all right, which his ass should be under the jail by now. Basically, he had what they call gain of function experiment, where basically they would take certain pathogens and strains and they would enhance them. So things that would naturally affect the human, it can affect you 2 times as more. Okay, called gain of function. So I wouldn't doubt if they are creating something in the lab that makes it more transmissible to humans. So I mean, it's a very well concept. Okay, you're gonna have all types of weird stuff going on this planet Earth. You see, like, it was a video that came out maybe back in 2013 about this one dude down in Florida, and he was like, I think he was like off bath salts. So they say he could have been an experiment, something in a mental institution going wrong. We don't know, but allegedly he was off bath salts and he ate this dude face off. So zombie-like, it's not far-fetched, to say the least. All right, so this is the book of Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to start at 58. It says, if thou wilt not observe to do all these words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, Yahweh thy power, then the Lord will make the plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance. Now, in the show The Last of Us, that plague took place over a 30-year period. Okay? And it says here, even great plagues of long continuance, and sore sickness and of long continuance. And moreover, he will bring upon thee all these diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. And also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, then will Yahweh bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. So it's not far-fetched. Okay, and understanding how this devil gets down. Hey, this is nothing but an experiment in the making. Okay, I won't be surprised if they got the virus probably in the C19, you know what. Ain't no telling, man. They can have it in a you know what. Okay, because over a course of time, millions of people didn't drop dead over that jab. And the ex-vice president of Pfizer, I believe it was Pfizer, he even mentioned that. He said that those things was designed to eliminate population. And that's what he said, to keep it PG. He said it. He brought it out straight from the horse's mouth. So, hey, when the devil speaks on something is devastating, hey, you got to believe him, because why would he lie about something like that? Especially when people are falling off the map now. You know, they gave people, like, at first they gave people 2 to 3 years, and I heard 3 to 5 years, and some people saying between 5 to 15 years, but it just depends. You know, everybody's immune system is different. But everybody that took that, you know what, and they've took 2 or more, then, hey, your days are limited. Your days are numbered. This is why you have all types of infomercials coming out now about stomach issues and people detoxing and pushing healthy foods and so forth, because people are literally messed up from that 3-pointer. You know, people have issues they can't seem to get rid of, allergies that they've never had. People got jacked up off that ordeal. All right. Here's the book of Ezekiel 7, and I'm going to start at verses. Let's start at verses 5. It says, thus says the Lord thy power, and evil, and only evil is become. An end is come, and the end is come. It watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. Okay. Verses 8, it says, now will I surely pour out my fury upon thee, and accomplish my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and I will recompense thee for all thy abominations. And my eyes shall not spare, neither would I have pity. I will recompense thee to all thy ways and thy abominations that are in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh that smiteth. So this is of the Heavenly Father, because he's going to allow Esau to go rampant and to do his will, because ultimately Esau is the left hand of the Heavenly Father, as it tells us in the book of Isaiah. It says the staff in their hand is my indignation, you know. And it says here, behold the day, behold it is come, the morning is gone forth, the rod have blossomed, pride have budded, because the people were extremely proud. And it says violence has risen up into a rod of wickedness. None of them shall remain, nor their multitude, nor any of theirs, neither shall they be willing for them. And the time is come, and the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for the wrath is upon the multitude thereof. Right? Okay. So the Lord said that there's going to come a time that it's going to be so bad on earth to the point that Michael the Archangel is going to have to intervene in our affairs because things are going to get that bad. Pestilence, famine, judgments, strange wonders in heavens, apparitions, all types of shit. Planes falling from the sky, blackouts. Like the Jake chick, she had a vision that there was mass blackouts and chaos in the streets of America, man. And we've been speaking on that for some time. You know, me personally, I know I've been going into these grid outages quite intensively for the last couple of years, man. And hey, it's just a matter of time before the Lord allows it to happen. But when it happens, hey, the prophets warned you. But it says here, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. And he that is in the field should die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence should devour him. And this is a form of the pestilence, man. Okay? Because, hey, this leads to cannibalism. This leads to mass chaos, mass death, judgment. And it reads, but they that escape of them should escape and should be on the mountains like doves of the valley, all of them mourning, everyone for his iniquity. And all hands should be as feeble, and all knees should be weak as water. And they also should gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror should cover them. This is like some out of a damn horror movie right here, man. I've never seen anything like it. And like I said, I'll do more research on it, but that don't look normal. You know, that looks strange. And it says here, and horror should cover them, and shame should be upon all faces, and baldness upon all heads. And they should cast their silver in the streets, and their gold should be removed, and their silver and their gold should not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. It says they should not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. Okay, going down here, verse 25, destruction cometh, they should seek peace, there should be none. Mischief should come upon mischief, rumor should be upon rumor. Then they should seek a vision of the prophet, and the law should perish from the priests, and counsel from the ancients. Okay, so it's gonna get real grimy out here real soon. Matter of fact, strange wonders, newly created creatures, bingo. Wisdom of Solomon. It started at 11 and 17. It says, for thy almighty hand that made the world without form, or the world of matter without form, wanted not means to send among them a multitude of bears and fierce lions, or unknown wild beasts, full of rage, newly created, breathing out either a fiery vapor or filthy scent of scattered smoke, or shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes, whereof not only the harm might dispatch them that once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroying them, man. You see? So the Heavenly Father, man, he has creatures that's not very favorable into the eyes. Put it to you that way. Okay, you got some creatures on the planet Earth that's so hideous to the point, hey, you can drop dead just by beholding them. Okay, you got animals with all types of abilities. You have at the bottom of the ocean, which is called bioluminescence, which is basically a fish or aqua life that dwells at the darkest parts of the sea. Because when you go all the way down to the bottom of the sea, there's no light down there because of the density of the water. It's so thick. All right, so you have what they call bioluminescence to give light to the animals down there because it's pitch black. Like where Leviathan dwells, it's probably pitch black down there, you know, at the bottom of the ocean. But the scriptures say that filthy scents of scattered smoke are shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes, whereof not only the harm might dispatch them at once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroyed them. And yea, and without these might, they have fallen down with one blast, being persecuted of vengeance and scattered abroad through the breath of thy power. But thou hast ordered all things in measure and number and weight. All right. So things are created for judgment, as Yahweh Shai mentioned in Sirach. I think it's Sirach 39 or 38. I forget where it's at, but he created spirits for vengeance, and this is nothing more than that, you know. 2nd Ezra 16, and I ended 2nd Ezra 16, and I'm gonna start at verses 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What should I do when these evils come? And this is nothing more, and I'm not saying anything could come of this. But knowing Esau, hey, why not? Okay, if you the devil and you have a agenda to fulfill, why not play off this? Especially when you've created shows based around this particular virus. I mean, you've already advertised it through your website, through your corporation. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time. So Esau is planning something, man. It's something that's getting ready to come down the pipe that's going to shake this world and take it by storm. Okay, you thought the C-19 was a big deal. That wasn't none compared to what's getting ready to hit this planet, man. And there will be mass death. There will be mass casualties, you know. And it says here, behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. But for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of their scourges. But behold, victual should be so good, cheap upon the earth, that they think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Because prior to the pandemic, life was pretty much, I mean, shit was expensive. Things were overpriced. But, you know, people's dollar stretched a little bit farther. Okay, not by much, but, you know, compared to 2020, 2021, when inflation really started to show its head, 21 and 22, people remember going back into the dog days of 2019 when things were still expensive. Things were going up, you know, but back in the day, you can get Taco Tuesday for $1. Now, a deal on tacos, you may get 3 tacos for $9.99. That's not no goddamn deal. I'm only getting 3 tacos for $10. It's not a deal, you know. But it reads here, and it says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, and the dead should be cast out as dung, and there should be no man to comfort them. For the earth should be wasted, and the city should be casted down. All right, and this is where we're heading to. You know, but anyway, not going to be a long lesson, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Rachak Wadash. Lord's will, you will edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.